All right. So just like my good friend Frank was talking about, I wanted to pop in here a little bit. One, so you guys could hear my lovely voice. And then two, just to kind of give you a little bit of update as to, how me and the team are looking at the market, where we're seeing things going. So you guys, a little bit, you saw the message that I put in the chat. First, I sent it to the DAO, and then I was like, you know what? I feel like the rest of the chat should be able to see something like this. So I forwarded that over, and I sent it into the main chat as well. And people were speculating as to what Kyle meant. So here's the big thing with crypto is that you hear a lot of this buy the rumor, sell the news. And when you get into these channels, when you get into the main communities, everyone wants the alpha so that they feel like they can get the jump on other people. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of things like that because it creates for a very unhealthy community. I would rather that you guys be educated as to what's going on with not only the market, but the project so that you can make educated decisions with your investments instead of always worrying about trying to get the jump or the drop on things. Because as we know, things don't always go as planned. Sometimes things get delayed and it puts you in a bind. And so the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, which is why I think the educational series that Frank does is absolutely phenomenal, because he's not only teaching you about different ways to move and leverage your money, but at the same time he's teaching you about a cool ecosystem, a really cool community that Marvin is part of. The Night Swap ecosystem is a very cool one that is hugely beneficial to all of you right now. And the reason why it is hugely beneficial to you right now is because times when the market is slow, when on-chain volume is very down, ways to continually earn money just by holding and participating is amazing. I know people in the Marvin community that have almost doubled their bag, more than doubled their bag, during this down period in the market simply by staking their Marvin. How crazy is that, right? They're making money just by chilling and participating in the community. That's what we're all about. Marvin is all about opening up investment opportunities for people. And so talking about the market, where is the market at? What is going on? Hey, we see a couple green days of Ethereum. We see a couple green days of Bitcoin. What does this mean for everything? And I get messages from people all the time asking about that. And so I wanted to come into the community and just give you guys some insight as to how the team is visualizing everything and where our head is at. So right now, as far as the market is concerned, there's a lot of different factors that are working. So if you guys are inside the United States, if you're not inside the United States, a lot of the market is heavily tied to the United States stock market. And why is that? Because currently, because of how big crypto is, it's not very big. It is in its infancy. So it is still largely controlled and manipulated by hedge funds that control the US stock market as well. They basically move money back and forth between the stock market and the crypto market. Why does this matter? Because they're still going to see green days. You might see a green week. You might see a green couple days. And why does this matter? Because US economic policy heavily influences the way that these people move money and mitigate their risk. You guys heard me, mitigate their risk. And so with inflation going higher and higher, there is a lot of relative uncertainty as to what's going on. So what does this mean for the main market? So in 2 days, the United States is going to release their consumer price index. The consumer price index talks about inflation. You guys have heard that term thrown around quite a bit lately. And inflation is something that is it's at such a level right now where it is negatively inflating things. And so I think this month we're going to get positive news to where the inflation might drop a little bit. But as I said in the messages, and I'll say it again here, one month of good news does not mean good things. And so Marvin, you guys are smarter because we educate you. You're a better kind of investor. And the big thing that we preach is patience. So just because the market is green for 1 or 2 days doesn't mean it's a good time to lurch into things. Just because good news comes out of the United States for 1 month doesn't necessarily mean that we're all of a sudden going to experience a bull run. I will be honest, I do believe that Bitcoin and Ethereum will dip again, okay? Bitcoin and Ethereum will dip again. And so that's why, as a project, one of the things that I want to let you guys know is that altcoins, Marvin is an altcoin, is heavily influenced by what the major market is doing. And here's the thing, and I want to put something to bed right now. I get people all the time that are like, altcoins, they decouple from the big markets. That's bullshit. That is absolute and utter bullshit, because if altcoins and meme coins decoupled from Ethereum and Bitcoin, there would be altcoins that are in the top 10 that are continuously pumping. There will be altcoins, meme coins that would be in the top 100 that are continually pumping. That is not the case. And so why does this matter? Why do I bring that up? And why do I make this point? Is because, as I've told you guys time and time again, we, the team, take your investment and this project very seriously. If we mismanaged funds and we spent things wildly and foolishly, this project would be dead right now. There would be thousands of you who have put money into Marvin, and the project would be absolutely dead. We don't want that. And so we're taking a very measured approach right now. The team is in the process of, we're developing technology behind the scenes. We're working on the technology used for the play to earn game. We're working on the different types of NFTs. We're working on all of these things behind the scenes because bear markets are building seasons. So from a team standpoint, this is a time where the team is able to build and get ahead and prepare for when things start to turn around. It's not the time you see a lot of projects, they'll pump, but they will not sustain. And right now, like, we're doing a very good job. We've got pretty good volume considering the size of our project. We're holding a very stable floor, which is super reassuring considering where the market is at and everything that is going on. And these are things that I want you guys to pay attention to, is that when the team, like when we're not in the chat talking, because I'm sorry, I'd love to sit and chat with you guys all day. I have 1,000,001 things to do. And a lot of it has to do with the well-being of the project. And we look at the big macro market and where things are going. And so everyone's, okay, Kyle, when is the bull market going to happen? When are we going to start seeing good things happen with Marvin? Okay. And so the way that a lot of our timing is really working is I'm waiting for a couple factors. Okay. And this is exactly, oh my God, this is a look inside Kyle's brain. I'm watching the inflation numbers each month within the United States. If we see a couple positive months, I'm going to start thinking good things are happening and we can start to slowly ramp things up and push things out. Okay. So we've got July and we've got August. So there's a couple, and one of the things is that you've got to pay attention to is election season. So for those of you who do not live in the United States, we're in the process of going through a midterm election. So no, we're not going to be electing a new president, but we have what we call the House and the Senate. And the House and the Senate, they dictate a lot of laws and where things are going. And so this is a very pivotal election in November, okay? So election in November. So you guys are following me. So I'm watching interest rates in July, August, September, and I'm also watching the election in November. And here's the thing. You guys, a lot about governments and things that governments do, they like to slant things in their favor. So look for some good news in October. Why October? The reason why they will try to launch good news in October is because they want to win the election. So that's going to be a positive time. So we might do some things around that time frame to capitalize on that. Again, we're going to get an idea and see what we'll do. I'm not going to tell you guys. Remember, I'm not a big fan of buy the rumor, sell the news. Just know that if you guys can get into the mindset of what Kyle looks at, you'll start to slowly understand, okay, cool, we might see things rev up a little bit with Marvin around these times, right? You guys are starting to see this. because I have to see what's working, what's not working. But this is how I'm looking at things. This is all right, cool. We might look to start spending some more marketing dollars around this October timeframe to take advantage of what's coming. And as we look forward to the major market, 2023 looks like it's going to be an interesting year. So a lot of the cycling that's happening is we're looking at 2023 is going to look a lot like 2019 was in crypto. So for those of you who aren't familiar with 2019, 2018 was a big dump. It was a bad year. Everyone's talking about right now, Bitcoin is hitting 2018 levels. And so with all that being said, we look at 2019. 2019 is going to feel like a bull, or 2023, excuse me. Wow, look at me going back in time. 2023 is going to feel like a bull run. It's not going to be a bull run. Why? Because all 2023 will be is just gaining back the losses that we've lost. So right now, Ethereum's at $1,100. In 2023, it'll probably get back up to 3,000. Bitcoin will probably get back up to 40,000, 50,000 in that range. So everyone will think bull run, and all it will be doing is just making back what it lost. I think for the rest of the year, from July through the end of the year, aside from some occasional pumps, I look at in October, you're going to see prices pump up a little bit. They might stay up in November, and there will be a dump in December. Oh my God, Kyle, why is there going to be a dump in December? December is the end of the fiscal year as far as US taxes are concerned. And so you dump crypto to take a loss on your taxes so people with money don't have to. And historically, go back and look at the charts. There's a lot of dumps that occur during December. The market doesn't really pump during December. So if you start to understand what these dates mean, you can be more educated with what to do with your money. And these are things that as a project, we look at. Okay, so I'm not looking at what other meme coins are doing. I'm playing a bigger game. Marvin is playing a bigger game. Okay, I'm going to say that Marvin plays a bigger game. I don't, and pardon my French, I don't give a fuck what other meme projects are doing. I don't at all. And the reason for that is we work with a lot of bigger projects, work with a lot of bigger venture capital funds, people who are paying a bit attention to the bigger market. I'm not pumping and dumping your money, period. You might not always like what we do, but the thing is, like I said, we're going to protect your investment. That is the big thing. Protecting your investment doesn't mean doing the sexy thing all the time. Protecting your investment means that Marvin's going to be here 2 years from now. Marvin's going to be here 3 years from now. Because remember, the very first version of Marvin, those guys just up and left the project. They didn't care. They left it for dead. This version of Marvin fights like hell to make sure that we have every single chance to moon again. Okay? And that's the big thing that I want to let you guys know, is that these are things that I'm paying attention to, that the team is paying attention to when we're looking at developing the technology. The reason why Bitmart got delayed, I'm in direct contact with Bitmart. I meet with the directors of Bitmart in person when I go to these different events and things. And the reason why we haven't listed on Bitmart yet is because their on-chain volume is so low. And the last thing that Bitmart wants is for Marvin to get listed on Bitmart and then it not have any volume. That makes Bitmart look bad. That doesn't help Marvin at all. And so what is the point of just frivolously listing on Bitmart if it's not going to have any positive effect on the project? And these are things that the team looks at and so the reason why we postponed the listing on Bitmart is because it's not going to have any positive impact on Marvin. The listing fee is paid, the contracts are signed, we're ready to go. I literally talk to the people at Bitmart every single day. So that's not a concern of ours, but what a concern of ours is making wise decisions for the project, okay? And because why would we list on Bitmart just to sound cool Why would we list on Bitmart just to sound cool if there's no volume, if there's no positive impact on the project, right? That makes no sense. That's not a team being wise and making smart decisions with your money. And this is my little market update, is I'm keeping an eye right now on the inflation results. So if you guys go to Google and you type in United States CPI release dates, so I'm going to do that with you right now. United States CPI release dates, 2022. Okay. And it'll give you schedule for the releases of the consumer price index. So you have July 13th, August 10th, September. These are all dates to pay attention to. So now if the CPI number goes up, it might be a rough day for the market. If it is a lower number, it might be a pump for the market. These are things that I'm looking at, because then the Federal Reserve, the people who do monetary policy, they have their meetings. So I believe, and so then if you type in FOMC meeting schedule, it will give you the different dates that they're meeting. So they meet again July 27th and 28th. And so these are the people who decide how much the interest rate goes up and how much the interest rate goes down. And so, well, what's going to happen if all of a sudden bad news starts to come out before these guys meet? The market's going to drop, right? If the CPI number says up, which means interest rates are higher, it means that the Fed has to raise the interest rates. Wow. I want you guys to keep an eye on what the market does on July 13th. Watch what the market does on July 13th. If the CPI number is up and it gives bad info, then the market will probably drop a little bit. If it gives good info, it might be a green day. And then all of a sudden, if everyone's wondering, why is Bitcoin up? Why is Bitcoin down? Or Ethereum, whatever, whichever way it goes, then just remember that you were on this voice chat and you're like, wow, I bet you it's because the CPI was good or bad. And then 2 weeks later, when what the US calls the Fed meets, then you'll know whether or not they're looking to raise interest rates or lower interest rates based on what the CPI is doing. Wow, like suddenly now it starts to make sense as to what we're looking at as a project when it comes to the things that positively and negatively affect the rate. Now, obviously, this is just one thing that affects the market. We look at it all, but I wanted to give you guys some insight as to how we determine how heavy or how little we're going to market when we release different pieces of technology, when we announce different partnerships, when we do different things. This is just a little bit of inside baseball as to why we do what we do. At the same time, this is 100% the reason why we asked Frank to start doing his education series on staking and on farming and everything that goes with that, because we want to teach you guys different ways to leverage and grow your money. That's the big thing. We wanted to teach you guys how to multiply your wealth. Imagine having used the staking that the Marvin team has provided you guys this entire bear market, and then all of a sudden we go into a bull market, and not only do you have your Marvin that you've bought, and then you have all of the night swap tokens that you get as well when the market starts to pump, all because you just staked Marvin. And then because it's a liquidity pair, so your BNB is going to pump, your Marvin's going to pump, and your Knight's going to pump. Holy shit, that's 3 different streams of revenue that will pump as a result of just using some of the techniques that we're talking about on these calls. So, Frank, so concludes my State of the Union, my rant, my ramble, my TED Talks on a little bit of insight as to how I view things, and insight as to, so when you get all of these people that are like, Kyle, when are we doing this? What's an update on this? You guys have just gotten a little bit of insight as to the things that I'm keeping an eye on right now that either negatively or positively affect the market. Because it's one thing to market when there's a little bit of good news, If you know that things are still going to go down, what's the point? You just want to hold tight and keep staying the course, keep stable, and just know that we will be ready and waiting when good times come. And we will definitely be prepared with a plan at that time. So, Fran, I got someone at my door. I need you to take it back over.